silent or off. We'll begin and ask Coach McElwain for his general thoughts on the game, and then we'll take your questions. Coach?
Well, first of all, I'm proud of this football team. I'm proud of our guys, what they've gone through this year, this season. And you know what? They came and laid it on the line today. Obviously, you're not going to beat anybody, giving them the ball 4 times, especially a team like Nick has put together, which in my opinion is the best team top to bottom that he's had since he's been there. And that's a credit to him, his coaching staff, their commitment to him, and what he's able to do. We had a pretty good plan, I felt. We put some dents in them. Would have liked to pounded that one in there or realized maybe take the field goal, get it to a 2-score game. But at that point, I felt momentum-wise, if we could, bang one of those in there, I don't know what they were at, 33 or something like that. I felt we could maybe get them puckered up a little bit. And I will tell you this, I didn't come here to be close. We came here to be champions of the SEC. That's what you do when you're at the University of Florida. That's the expectation. I understand that. And, I'm proud of those seniors that chose to come back. I thought what Jared Davis did today was fantastic. And, it speaks a lot about a guy that was willing to lay it all out there for his team and his family. So, questions?
Okay, if you have a question, please raise your hand, and we'll get a floor mic to you. We'll start right in the front on the left. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, Robbie.
Coming in, you knew you had to take care of the football. What happened with the turnovers there in the first quarter? Was it almost bad reads, a bad decision?
Yeah, I think the first one, felt a little pressure and let it hang high over the middle late. That's number one rule of playing football there. Not a good deal. And, we knew we had to get them off balance, and we tried to do that with some of the play action stuff. And they've made some other teams turn the ball over, I think, this year. And I knew going in we had to take care of the ball. I talked about that, and we didn't. So.
Okay, question on the left right here. Go ahead.
You had said this game was kind of a measuring stick for you guys. Where does that leave you guys in terms of what you need to do?
Yeah, no, I tell you what I saw. Obviously, the depth was a huge issue, and where it really shows up, guys, you've been around a long time. It's in special teams, and obviously we got our tails kicked in that area. And when you're thin like that, that's the nature of it. When you're building a program, taking over a program, you run through some attrition. Your body count always isn't there. We've got to get that back up. And I'm not saying those guys on those teams didn't try. Now, that's not what I'm getting at all. They tried their tails off. Sometimes you go against players that, are pretty good, right? That's the way it goes. And, again, my credit is to what Coach has built and the commitment that they've given him and the trust they've given him to keep it going.
Okay, question on the right. Go ahead, Tony.
Jim, right here. You mentioned this might be Nick's best team. What is it about this team that makes them a little bit better than some of the other great ones he's had?
I think I don't see a lot of weaknesses, even in the depth piece. And the thing I see is they're built a little different. I think overall, just the overall team speed is different, And, there aren't a lot of teams that can run even with us. We've got fast guys. And they've really accumulated a lot of speed at some spots where they were always big, But I think that's the one thing I see. And obviously the element of, what they've done with that quarterback.
Question on the left. Go ahead.
Coach, what was the feeling on the sideline after that first drive that you guys took it right down the field? I think it was 10 plays.
And I think, and then, defensively, what they have, 6 plays, 0 yards or something there, in a couple series. Our guys, but, trying to, you can't, when that happens, when, you shoot yourself with the turnovers and then they're getting cheap points, which got them into the game. But with that being said, our guys came here to win, and I think it showed.
Do you have a follow-up?
Moving forward, how imperative is it to, Appleby and Del Rio were, I guess, sort of stopgap quarterbacks to develop a quarterback?
Yeah, something we got to do, and we got to make sure it happens sooner than later. And that's my responsibility, and it'll get done.
Okay, down front on the right.
Jim, going off of that, this month for the bowl game that you guys are going to be in is going to give you an opportunity to potentially maybe get one of the freshmen ready. Is that something that you would consider, or is it too late to burn a red shirt this late in the season?
I haven't really, that's one of those deals I think we have to sit down with them and their parents and handlers and all that, I'm not sure it's fair, but at the same time, I know they want to play. So we'll see.
And then whether it's one of those guys or even some of the younger players, you talk about developing depth and trying to build for the future. How do you weigh that, getting ready for this bowl game, where you maybe want to play the guys that give you the best chance to win, but also kind of set yourself up for the future and get some young guys?
Well, the one thing I do know is we've got to go to win this bowl game wherever we end up. And, we're going to put a plan together and get the players out there to go play that and go win a game.
Question on the left aisle.
Yeah, just how critical is the bowl game to come out and put out a good performance in that game?
Well, I think it's good. We obviously open up with a big opponent next year in Dallas. So, the bowl game itself, we got to go play hard and put a plan together and win. The guys got to go compete, not be afraid. I was really disappointed, obviously, in the effort last year. But this is a different team, Got some guys that are in it for a lot more than just themselves, Edgar.
Do you have a follow-up?
And you mentioned you guys, I think, were down 17-9 after the race play, which was pretty spectacular play, but they still hadn't even had a first down. Does that just show you kind of just how they can just beat you in so many ways?
Yeah, no, and it goes back and credit them for the amount of guys that they've recruited and the bodies they've recruited and the quality that they've recruited. And, they never slow down in anything they do as an organization. They're always pushing for what the next thing is, and when they finish one thing, it's on to another that's already been planned. It's the same way they do, in recruiting. It's the whole organization itself believing, aligned, and they trust Coach, and they've given him. He's done a great job with it, and guys, like I said, Tony said it. I do. I think this is the best 85 that they've probably traveled with to the SEC championship game. That's a real ball squad.
Got time for 2 more questions. Let's take one right there.
Hey, obviously it was a disappointing day, but what's the biggest positive you can take into a bowl game and then into spring practices next year?
Well, there's a lot of positives when you look back at the expectations that were there that weren't much for this team, right? And as I told them, they just got to close out the noise from the outside and bond together and let's just go win, not worry about anybody else. So,
Last question right here on the aisle.
Commitment to the program has been a big theme this week for you. Are there any specific steps you'd like to see taken in your own program to get you to the next level?
you know, I'm just happy to be here and coach my tail off with the guys we got. You know, it is what it is. I mean, you guys have been there. You see it. So, I mean, I'm proud of this football team because I know what they've been through. And they're a good group of guys that play their tails off for the Gators. And I'm proud of them.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.